Welcome to the Female Founder Friday podcast, a collection of inspiring conversations with the most interesting female entrepreneurs and small business owners. I'm your host, Lindsay White, and together with my incredible guests, we'll explore the struggles of being a female entrepreneur, the most important lessons, and the future of women leaders in business. And I'm passionate about helping female entrepreneurs become the calm, confident leader their team and their business really need. And that's why I have launched my 6-week mental fitness bootcamp. This amazing program will help you tackle your inner critic, tame your saboteurs, tap into your sage inner voice, and really help you build the mental muscles you need to quickly overcome the changes and challenges you're facing right now. If you're ready to transform your leadership and your life, connect with me today at highvoltageleadership.ca/positive intelligence. My guest on this week's podcast is 𝐄𝐤𝐿𝐵. 𝐿 truly manifested her business. As a little girl, she dreamed of having her own company, wearing a power suit, having staff, and she would tell anyone who listened that she was going to own her own consulting business one day. It was her move to Canada, though, that brought that dream to life. And now she's built a business that has helped over 40,000 people in the last 4 years build their own amazing careers and fulfill their dreams. 𝐿's such a wonderful female founder, and she has so much wisdom to offer that I cannot wait to share this incredible conversation with you today. Hey, welcome, 𝐿, to the Female Founder Friday podcast. I am really excited to have you as a guest today.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. I'm so happy to be here. We've been talking about this for a while, and I'm glad it's happening.
Oh, me too. Hey, busy ladies, busy schedules.
Yeah,
that's how it happens. But I'm really excited to hear more, because what initiated this conversation and this new relationship was I saw an incredible post of yours on LinkedIn about your journey, and I just had to connect. I was just compelled by your story, and I sent you that note and said, you don't know who I am, but I really think you sound cool, and I want to have you as a guest on the podcast. And I am so glad that it has worked out and that we get a chance to chat today.
Yes, me too. When I got your message, I'm like, wow, who is this wonderful woman? I looked at your profile, I'm like, wow, she is awesome. I checked out your podcast, your Instagram page, your website, and I'm like, she is a hidden gem. So
That's a lovely
I'm so happy we get to do this. Thank you for connecting with me and having me on the podcast as well.
Yeah. I'm so glad it worked out. Sometimes you get that the universe just lines it up, right?
Exactly.
I love it. So, okay. So tell us about your journey to being a female founder, because I know it's a beautiful story.
Oh, where do I start from? I was thinking about everything that's happening in my life recently. I'm like, I've really just manifested everything I ever wanted. I used to say that I'm going to have my own company. I'm going to have a consulting company. I said that so much as a young girl. I was going to have staff, reporting to me everywhere. And I was going to wear power suits. Like, I used to say all the things when I was younger. I loved seeing people wearing suits. I just thought they were powerful, and they were strong, and they had fantastic careers. But yes, my story, as a child, I had so many dreams. One day you asked me, I want to be a doctor. The next day you asked me, I want to be a teacher. The next day you asked me, I want to be an actress. The next day you asked me, I want to be a journalist. I had so many things I wanted to become as a child. And going into college, I studied accounting. I loved numbers, so it just made sense to me to study accounting, and I did. Studied accounting and started working as an accountant for a couple of years, and I just sort of got bored with the career. I wanted more, looking for more, and I found the business analysis and project management career path. And it sounded exciting to me because I wanted a role where I just didn't have to work with the numbers and it was boring to me. Right. I wanted where I could lead, where I could showcase those leadership skills that I had, great communication skills, collaborating with the teams. And I found myself always tilting towards those kind of opportunities when they came up at work. So what did I do? I decided to move into that career path, learn, take courses, get certifications, and get started in that career. So started growing in my career, working on projects, moving from one company to another, moved to Canada, continued in the career path. And then that's where everything changed. Because when I came into Canada and I started working, as a business analysis professional, opportunities started coming my way. And, I had set that intention that I wanted to own my own company, but I didn't know how it was going to happen. And I always tell people that I'm an accidental founder, an accidental entrepreneur, an accidental CEO.
I do the same thing. I totally do. I love it.
And this came about because I applied for a consulting role. So I applied to be a consultant with University of Manitoba. Mm-hmm. And at that time, they were building out their business analysis certificate program, and they were looking for experienced business analysts who could come build this program for the school, because with the growing demand for business analysts, a lot of universities and colleges started offering those certificate and diploma programs, but they didn't know how to structure it. And so when I, got into the committee and, to be a member of that committee and one of the consultants. So they were like, well, this is actually a B2B kind of situation. So you need to have a company. I'm like, oh, okay. So they're like, yes, you need to have a company. And based off of that, I registered my company. I'm like, you know what? I guess this consulting company is going to start today. So my company was born that day.
Love it.
And that was the first of many other consulting opportunities, speaking opportunities, doing consulting work with small businesses, with technology companies, and also, building out my own products as a founder. But it was more of, being told you need to have a company. I'm like, okay, I'm going to finally set up my company. And that's how it started. And, in 4 years now, we have done so many amazing things that, whenever I speak with, with other people, whenever I'm having, a review, they're like, how did you grow so fast? It's just 4 years. How are you able to, start this, just 4 years ago and scale it so fast? I'm like, I honestly do not know, but to be true, I think to be truthful, I think it's really just the thought I had behind it. For me, it wasn't just another business. It was, how can I use this business as a vehicle to help more people, to help professionals who are stuck and struggling, in their careers? How can I use this business as a vehicle to help small business owners who are struggling to get their business out there, to be visible, to find funding, to connect with customers, to leverage technology in their businesses? So it was the thought behind it and the impact that we wanted to create that has made us have this success so far. So my journey to being a female founder was really, really accidental, because I feel like if I didn't get that, consulting opportunity at that time, I probably wouldn't have thought about starting my business. And also, I feel like if I didn't go through some challenges to myself, being that I am an immigrant and I also faced all the challenges that an immigrant faces when they move to a new country, trying to get a job, trying to start a business, no support anywhere, feeling lost, feeling stuck. I feel like if I didn't experience all of that, I wouldn't really have had a strong mission behind the business. So that's a bit about my journey. And today, Any Consultant Incorporated, has grown with our staff strength and revenue and the impact that we're making in the community. We also have the education arm, which is the business analysis school, where we help professionals with their careers and helping over 40,000 people in the last 4 years. Wow. What an amazing impact. But it really just started with saying, okay, I'm going to do it, facing my fears, not knowing what was going to come the next day, how we're going to get started, bootstrapping and using my own funds to do everything.
Yeah.
So if you're a female founder out there, you're listening to me, or you want to start your business, I'll say just do it, right? Nobody knows it from the start. I started because I was told to,
Yeah.
right? So but imagine if you already know what you're supposed to, you have a purpose, you have a mission, just get started. You never know. You will definitely find the right people along the way that will definitely support you through your journey.
I love it. What a powerful message. I really love that. That's totally what this show is all about.
Yeah.
Right? You can do it. You can do it. Look at all these other women that have done it. You can do it too. That I think is just a beautiful and a beautiful message for, like you said, immigrant women, women of color. It is possible.
Yes, you can. It is possible.
You can have that dream.
It is possible.
Right?
It is possible. I tell people all the time, I say, whenever you want to do something, just go look out. There's a woman like you that has done it. And if she has done it, I tell myself that all the time. Whenever I see a woman of color who has been able to achieve something, I say, if she could do it, I can do it as well, because she definitely faced challenges before she got there, but she was able to, break all those glass ceilings, push down all those obstacles. So why can't I do it as well? That's the confirmation that it's possible.
I love it. I love it. Well, that sort of is a good segue into my second question, which is, where have you messed it up? Where have you made mistakes?
I definitely have made lots of mistakes for sure, because like I shared with you, I didn't have any hand holding or anybody like guiding me through this initially. But of course, once I got into it, I'm like, okay, I want to be serious with this. I want to take this seriously. I want to do more. Then I started looking for help. But, in the beginning, there were definitely some challenges that I faced. And the first was thinking, when I start my business, it's an exciting thing to see a young woman, a woman of color, she's new to this country and she's starting her business. People will support me. Even the banks will support me. I would get access to capital for my business. That wasn't the case, right? I thought, there'll be a lot of provisions for me to access funding, to get the support I need, to get coaching. That wasn't the case. So, definitely one of the first missteps I made, and I advise every woman to do, is 1, speak with an accountant, 2, speak with a lawyer. I did not do those things. And, first of all, I didn't do those things, and I wasn't able to, in the initial year of my business, be able to make smart financial decisions with regards to pricing, with regards to the systems I had in place, with regards to payment collections, payment processors, all of those systems, documentation, financial documentation, all of that. And because of that, there were some, challenges with getting our accounting system set up, after a while. So that was something I should have done initially that I didn't.
Yeah.
Secondly was speaking with a lawyer as well to get all our contracts in place, to get all our legal documentation in place, to get our trademarks or copyrights, all of that should have been in place, or at least in progress. And I didn't get that done early enough in my business. So those are 2 missteps that I made, and of course generated some loss in revenue when it was detected later. That's for sure. Another misstep that I have made is with hiring. Hiring, the people side of things. And I know that you get that, Lindsay, is hiring for talent, right? Not hiring people that because they're your friend or they're in your circle, right? People would say, oh, I can do this. And because you already trust them or them, you're biased towards them. But can they really do the job?
Yeah.
Are they truly qualified, or they just want to, be a part of your business, right? So those were some mistakes I made with the hiring piece.
Yeah.
I didn't hire right. That's for sure. And that was, one of the early errors that I made and mistakes that I made. So if you're not certain what roles need to be filled or the skill sets that you need, speak with Lindsay for sure.
So first of all, love it. Shameless plug. If you need help with your people operations execution, I'm good. I'm good at that stuff. I'm good at that.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
But
And you need a business coach too.
Yes. Having a great coach
Exactly.
can be really valuable. I love, so thank you for bringing that up.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I love your point about having some accounting, financial expertise in your corner and having that legal expertise.
Yes.
I was lucky. I have accountants in my family, so I had access to that.
Yeah.
But I did not have access to, I did not have the same thing, contracts, all of those legal documents. And I too have had that issue. It seems like it's going to be really expensive. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be, but it will save you money in the long run.
Exactly.
That's the key message there, isn't it?
Exactly. To definitely save you money in the long run. And then the people side of things is so important. I was really focusing on, because I came from that tech space, that technology space, I was focusing a lot. I spent so much money on software in the first year in business.
Right.
I spent so much money on software and technology. In fact, to be honest, I tell people this all the time. If you're getting into business because you want to just make profit right from the bat, then don't just do it. My first year in business, I incurred a major loss.
Right.
I didn't start making revenue until the second year in business.
Right.
And things went up from there. And that's because in the first year, I learned all my lessons. And then, of course, I had everything else, in place, right? Because at that time, it was when I had to file tax for the first time, I realized, oh, holy crap. So definitely focusing on the people and the process before you even talk about technology. The people, the right people that you would need to help you grow your business, even if they're contractors or virtual assistants, that's fine. The processes you have in place, that's where the legal side of things comes into as well. Making sure you losing all the tighten all the loose ends rather. And then of course, before you focus on the technology side of things.
It really is important. I was just designing a talk and a little course and workbook around hiring your very first person. Contractor,
very important.
Right? How do you do that really well? Because that is a big step. Going from a solopreneurship essentially to being a CEO, right? Like automatically. And it's not something that many of us, we don't have that skill set.
Yes, that's true.
And so it's funny you talk about that, because I'm just creating something like that right now, because many small business owners get themselves into some hot water because you're right. They hire a friend or a neighbor or a family member. Doesn't always work out. Maybe we weren't clear about what we wanted. Like we didn't spend the time to get clarity. That happens.
Yeah.
Or we hire them because they're a nice person and they're really enthusiastic.
Yes.
And then something doesn't happen or goes sideways, and you don't want to damage those relationships, but it can be really tricky to get out of them. So I think that's a great lesson to take away is, be thoughtful about the people that you're bringing in, and be thoughtful about the experts that you need and when you need them. I love that. That is a great lesson for everyone listening to take away.
Yeah, absolutely. I share this all the time openly. Like,
I love it.
These are mistakes I've made. Don't make the same mistake. Like, just do it right.
Yeah. Do it right. And like, those are some of the things that do need to be check marked, don't they?
Yeah, definitely like a checklist for sure. There should be like a checklist of, the things you should get done for sure once you're starting your business. And, like you said, your first hire, like that's so important. What should you do? Like when people ask me all the time, like, what's the most challenging part of being a CEO? I say it's the people management for sure.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is the people management.
Yeah. It,
Yeah,
it is the most complex part of running your
exactly.
business. But you made the point earlier, and I think that this is set, to be said again. If you find the height and hire the right people who are talented, but also a good fit,
Yeah,
they will really accelerate the growth of your organization.
true, true.
Yeah. And that's why it's important that you take good care of
Yeah.
that work, that people and the process. Because if
Mhm.
you have the right people, but you don't have the right processes, then they're not working very effectively or efficiently, are they?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love it. So now I'm terribly curious about this because your business has grown pretty quickly over the last 4 years. You
Yeah.
you've grown the team. How do you lead? Like, what does leadership mean for you?
Hmm. Whenever I get asked this question, I think I just one word comes to mind, when I think about leadership. And what comes to mind is impact, right? When I think of leadership, I think of impact. Now, impacts internally to my employees, how they become a better version of themselves. Like, I look at the people who work with me now and I see how much they've grown from day one when
Yeah,
they first came in. And I'm happy to be a part of that journey,
yeah,
right? Because it's been a lot of, coaching and one-on-one and training. And I see the impacts that I have upon the lives of these people who
love
work
it.
with me. And then externally, the impact as well to clients, to clients and partners and the students of the school, the impact that we're making generally in the world through the work that we're doing. That's what leadership means to me, being able to guide, right? Being able to direct, being able to help these people, see reach their potential, basically helping them to reach their own potential through the work that we're doing. I found that, I found over the years that there have been some, techniques that I have used to help my, my staff do work better, help them to, even self-coach themselves and,
Yeah,
self-correct, yeah, right? And I see how they improve. The same thing I do as well, even with my clients and even the students of the school, is helping them to analyze within themselves, helping them to actually see, oh, okay, these are the things I've done wrong. These are the things I can do better. These are the ways I can improve.
yeah,
And just being that, that guide towards them, being that, will I say coach, but really just helping them to see a better version of themselves, become a better version of themselves, is what leadership really means to me. I've learned so much from being a leader that I'm like, this is interesting. A lot of these things that I'm doing. And I remember how my mom, used to lead and guide. I'm like,
ah,
this is so much like nurturing, because you see these people, in 6 months, in 1 year, they're like very different from their day one that they started in the company. Same thing with, the clients as well, is, after a year, the growth that they've had. And I'm like, wow, this is really such a nurturing process. And being a leader has really opened my eyes to so many things, and it's helped me to be a lot more emotionally intelligent.
yeah.
I'm really tapping into that side of me. So it's really refreshing. It's definitely very, very refreshing. The impact that I'm making in people's lives by being their leader, I do not take it for granted at all.
I love that word. What a powerful word, and what a beautiful description you
Yeah.
gave, because I think that that's really true. When
Mm-hmm.
we have impact as a leader, the ripple effects,
Exactly.
our team grows and changes, and they take that into their families, into their relationships,
Exactly.
like our clients, our stakeholders, our partners. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it just grows and is amplified, would maybe be the
Yeah.
word, right? That
Yeah.
impact gets amplified through every person we touch when
Mm-hmm.
we lead effectively.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really, that's such a beautiful way to describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally how I sort of envision it when
Yeah.
I think and talk and work with leaders as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the things that you talked about was your own emotional intelligence and the growth that you've experienced in that space.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
What I've come to understand is, from being a leader and, working with, different kinds of people, especially with the younger generation that we call the Generation Z,
Right.
I'm working with the baby boomers generation and the millennials, and all
Yeah.
of that is really understanding, how to really, communicate with people, different communication styles.
Yeah.
I have seen that I had to adapt to different communication styles
Sure.
for different people, understanding how to celebrate their successes, how to coach them, understanding some people like give, some people like, you praising them in public, all of that, and also finding ways to, even when they slip up on their tasks, how to sort of admonish them in a way that they even start to self-correct, like
Yeah.
they already start to spot and see the things that they do wrong, and they just self-correct without you having to, tell them, oh, you did this wrong.
Yeah.
Right. So me being more emotionally intelligent, I find myself thinking, oh, how should I relate with this person?
Yeah.
What's the right word the right tone to use, the right words to use? How do I say it? And I find myself thinking about it before I even, take the action or say anything. I'm like, this is so good, because for me, before I had to lead all of these people, it was very different. You can't compare, the work relationship that I had with my colleagues compared to now leading these people, because sometimes what I also notice is that because you're their boss, in quotes, there's this fear, right?
For sure, right? Absolutely. We've all felt that.
Yeah. There's this fear. So, making them feel like it's a safe space. You can share how you feel, feedback is welcome, critique these things, critique these things that you feel you should, be open to feedback.
Yes.
And, creating that environment where, anybody can raise their hands and say, I think, we can make changes here. This can be done better, and all of that, making sure everyone is involved. And it's sort of a team decision, not just a me decision, has been so helpful. So those are some things that I found that I just started adapting, to, once I became a leader.
I really love that. And in particular, because your background is as an accountant.
Yeah.
Your focus has been on the business analysis, the software, the processes.
Yes.
But so I want to highlight and just say how much I love that, you have clearly really focused on the leadership and being a really great leader, not a perfect one, because nobody's perfect.
Oh yeah.
Being a great leader and creating a space where people feel seen, heard, respected, and like they belong. And that, I think, is always so key to creating a really great culture and ultimately a thriving business. People want to feel cared for when they're at work.
They do. Absolutely. They do.
And it's easy to get caught up in numbers and processes and KPIs and all those things.
Yeah.
But when we nurture the people, those things become easier to do, easier to excel at, I think.
Yeah.
I love it.
Agree.
I love that. Well, I can't thank you enough for your time today to come and chat with us. Your story is really inspiring. I love that you are an accidental entrepreneur like me, because that's what I say all the time too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I totally do. I never intended to start my own business, but here I am. I love the way that you have created a team and a business and a culture that is impactful and is of service and is really creating community.
Right.
And
Right.
that's just brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Thank you so much. I have to say that, I'm grateful for the experiences that I had earlier in my life, because I feel like if I didn't have those experiences, I've had, horrible bosses. I've had amazing
Right.
bosses,
Right.
right? I've worked in organizations that were, the environment was toxic. I've
Yeah.
worked in organizations that had fantastic culture. All of that learning has, made me ask myself sometimes, and I sit back and say, what kind of, leader do I want to be?
Yeah.
What kind of environment do I want these people to thrive in? And do I want them, even when they leave, sometime in the future, they move on to the next thing, that for them, they think back to their time with this company and say, oh, these are one of my best years. I always want them to have that thought and that feeling, as when I want to always make sure that, they feel the same way. And I'm so grateful that I could use my business, any consulting, the business analysis school, to not just only impact, the people that work with me, but also the students, the clients, because the culture that we have created here is that, we want to care for everyone, that the customers, the students, that they get that everybody has that sense of responsibility.
Yeah.
And I really, really love that, because even when I'm not there, I know that, they're well taken care of. They're giving the best and highest quality of service.
Yeah, totally. Because everybody is bought in to that vision. Everybody's
Exactly.
bought into that culture. Everybody is bought into those values. And that's exactly it, because then you don't have to babysit anybody.
No.
That they get it. They are on it. They are invested in it.
Yes.
That's when cultures and teams become truly high performing.
True.
Beautiful.
True.
That is okay. We're going to have to spend way more time together, because we are totally having a mind meld, because that is what I am all about. That's what I do, is help organizations create that. And when I encounter an organization that gets it and is doing it and living it, and it's there, it's thrilling. It's thrilling. So if you're listening, this is what you're trying to create, everyone. This is it. This is the culture right here. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I could talk to you all afternoon. This was just absolutely brilliant. And I am so grateful. This has totally been a masterclass in how to bootstrap your way to a fantastic business.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. Thank you for having me on this podcast. And to all the amazing listeners, thank you for listening into this podcast as well. Feel free to like, subscribe, leave a review as well. Lindsay's doing an amazing thing with this podcast, showcasing female founders and their journeys and their stories. And we need more of this, right? Because I just imagine myself, 4 years ago, starting my own business and having access to an amazing resource as your podcast and learning from other women's journeys. I probably would have done some things right.
Well, and that's exactly it. I hope that we are inspiring female entrepreneurs, wherever they're at in their journey. But you're right. There's not a lot out there. So hopefully the show can be one of those pieces. So I appreciate you plugging my own show on my show. That's fantastic. I couldn't ask for a better guest. I mean, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Awesome. To everyone tuning in today, thank you so much for listening to the Female Founder Friday podcast. I love 𝐿 ability to create an incredible impact and a really beautiful business through the dedication she has to her own leadership practice. You can find out more about 𝐿 and the incredible work she does at thebusinessanalysisschool.com. And of course, you can find out more about me on Instagram, and my handle there is @HighVoltLeadership. The Female Founder Friday podcast has a goal to impact 1,000 listeners, and it would mean the world to me if you left this episode a 5-star review and shared it with all of your friends. Let's engage 1,000 female entrepreneurs and really amplify the message. Thanks again for being a part of the show, and don't forget, you can find out more about me at highvoltageleadership.ca.